Okay, Renee. Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the town board's budget workshop. And it is Monday, September 27th. It's a little bit after 6 p.m. So let's stand in the Pledge of Allegiance before we start work. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, just for anybody who's here and watching, this is the beginning of our 2020 budget process where we will determine what our revenues and expenditures are this year and what the all-important tax rate is. So this is a process where the board does the work, which is why we're sitting down here at this. And just so you know, public participation is not part of the work group. So if you're here or on watching virtually, just to know it's observation only, no participation. So the board has both the tentative, the tentative budget, as well as all of the worksheets that add up to that tentative budget, which come from each of the departments requesting budget estimates for this year. And so Tom Chartrand has put up on our screen.
Just the first page of the budget.
Yes, and we're going to fill it in as we go. So anybody who's here actually will be able to see the filling in of the budget as we go. And I'm going to turn this over to you, Tom. I think what we're planning to do is address the salary page first.
Yep. Did you want a quick rundown through where
Yes.
this big picture, this first page? So if you flip the first page of the budget, you'll also see it.
I'm moving down there. So I know.
Wait, Tom, just give Ann a minute to
Yep.
switch. And you know what I'll do? I'll move this way. Is that so you can see that, Ann?
Yeah. Be much easier.
So the ones that the first column, appropriations provisions for other uses, that is the total budgeted for expenditures next year. Estimated revenues are funds that are coming in from local, state, county, federal government, all different types of places. Unexpended balance is money that was left over when we closed the books at the end of 2020. And in some cases, we've used some of that, like we had a bit more than that in the highway fund, but we had used some of it for the purchase of a new truck. So we don't have quite as much as when we close the books. And so when you take the total appropriations, less the revenues, less the unexpended balance, it gives you the amount to be raised by taxes. And I do a quick comparison to the amount raised the prior year. And so for the general fund, we're down about 9%. And in the highway fund, we're up about 3.5%. We go down through all of the little lighting districts and those type of things. The first one that has a significant increase is the Delphi Falls lighting. Looks like a huge increase of 3%, but it's really $100 more. It's basically just one more light being added to the system because it's such a small district. Manlius Fire, of course, is a little bit bigger difference there, 8%. Delphi Falls also about 3%, and Delphi Falls ambulance is only an estimate right now. That's the amount that they went up last year. So I punched that in. They haven't settled on their budget yet. Pompey Fire is flat. Then we go down through all the little water districts. They're up, down all over the place, and they're not big dollar amounts. The next page.
So you wanted to do salaries first, you said, didn't you?
This is just, yeah, but this is just a summary, and then we're going to.
Just a quick idea
Okay.
so the public
Yes.
knows what we're working with.
Okay.
The next page is some drainage districts, and most of them are pretty flat. There's one with a big decrease at Spruce Ridge drainage. And then at the very bottom is the SOTS. And it's a very small increase. SOTS decided when they did their budget to keep the same $325 per year rate for one more year before we go out to bid for the following budget cycle. And then down at the very bottom is just a quick recap of our tax cap calculation. So this is the actual taxes the town collected, the 3,424,000. The balance of that to the 3,956 or 3,956 right above it here. This number is the fact that Pompey Hill is their own taxing authority. The Pompey Hill Fire District they tax by themselves, so we don't include that in our tax cap. Our multiplier is 1.004, so our town grew a new building in essence, or additions, 0.42%. The next multiplier is the tax cap, 1.02, so that means 2% increase. If you multiply by 1.02, it automatically figures that in. We did not have any tax cap available carryover. And so right now, our number that we're, the very bottom there, the amount that we're over is just under $6,000 over the tax cap at this point with everybody's wish list, which is the tentative budget.
Yeah.
So the next important page that we wanted to get to is the salary page.
Can I
Next
just
page.
interrupt for one
Yep.
second? Because I do think that's important for people to understand, and I don't know how much explanation ever gets given, because this is only my second time doing this. But this is the tentative budget. This is a wish list. It's what every department in the town is asking for. So this is what we start with. This is not what we necessarily will end with.
We never end with the same
Yes.
budget.
So it's always different, but I just want to be clear that that's how we create the tentative budget, is from all of the different departments' budgets. So, sorry. Go
Yep,
ahead.
no, that's perfect. Good explanation.
Thanks.
And we'll go on to page 17, which I'm going to get over to here. And so we have a bunch of, I have already moved some numbers over into the preliminary budget line just because it makes it easier for me to
Being up there.
up here on the screen. Yes.
Okay.
So that the tentative budget doesn't change. That's a set document. Any changes we make now are to what we would consider the preliminary budget. And that will be when the board moves the next time to the next cycle of the budget, they'll move to preliminary. And that's the one that will become public, and that's what we'll have the public hearing on in November after election. So our supervisor and our town board all requested no increase. Is there any change in that feeling?
No,
Our justices have requested some significant increases. Do we have a feeling for what that number would like to be? I did provide on your sheet an estimate of what a 2% tax cap would be if you were giving a 2% raise, which would be the New York State tax cap number.
where is that?
Very last column on that sheet.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
But I can also quickly punch in any number that you're interested in and or percentage. based
Well, I got to
on
say, it
prior year.
was helpful to do this comparative chart with what others are doing. And I do think that, in my looking at it, in comparing like what Lafayette justices get and Tully justices get, we're low, but they have a significant.
We have a major highway.
Yeah, I mean, their caseload is significantly higher. I don't know what ours is comparable to of the other towns that are on this.
I could
Chart.
probably come up with a rough, raw,
I mean.
What was our income?
well, I don't know whether it's really income is the best. I think it would be the raw collection by the other towns possibly might be a more telling number for you. So let me give you your total. Let me open up your total collections. So down here under overpayments and clearing, last year, our debit, or I'm sorry, our credit amount is the total amount that they brought in. There was some that carried over the end of the year. So your town brought in approximately $12,000 in fines last year.
Can you tell me the year before?
That was COVID.
In a second, I
last year,
can.
yeah. That's.
Or even the
problem.
year before that?
I can do that. Just give me a second to click on.
Thanks.
It's not, each year is a separate database. So that year was 2020. Oh, I'm sorry, that was 19 too. So 29,000 last year, 12,000 was this year to date. I am very sorry on that.
How much last year?
29,000 total.
Fines?
Yes, that's the raw fines. That includes the
that's
amount they collect
comptroller's.
for the state, the county, and us.
Okay, that's not what we retain.
No,
No.
Okay,
the we retain would be very small.
yeah, that's why I questioned it, because it's nothing like what.
So the year before that was 78,909. So that's probably a more accurate year to use for
Yeah.
comparison. So Tully, you said was similar and so let me go to that one.
No, I didn't say,
Oh, okay.
I said Tully and Lafayette have
Yeah, so
significantly
they're-
higher caseloads than ours.
Yes, 2019, their raw number was 154,160. So at least
Double.
more than double. And Lafayette's is going to be significantly higher than that, I believe.
Tom?
Yeah.
When's the last time we gave, the judges were given any kind of increase?
That's what I was gonna ask. It was 20.
So Lafayette's was 235,000.
Wow.
That gives you a rough idea. They're many times more than.
Yeah. Makes sense, they got all those big, they got 81. But,
Yep, let me go open up older budget. So in 2018, the justices were at the same amount, 9,240. Go back a couple more years. And that was 9,000. So the last time they received a raise was right here in 2016 to 2017. They went from $9,050 to $9,240, which is, I believe, what they're at right now.
Yeah.
So it has been a significant number of years.
so they haven't had a raise in 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
So I think they're due. I have to just tell you with bail reform, it is horrible for the judges. So the limits that are being placed on their ability to collect fine money. They can't scoff for fine money, so if people don't pay, so they have so many more.
I believe partial payments are coming down the
Yeah.
line as well next year, so they can pay like a quarter of their ticket and then they have to go back and bill them each
Yeah,
month.
they're really looking forward to that. So,
Paperwork.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether the judge or the clerks are
The
going to be doing the
clerks.
billing, so.
but, so I would not be opposed to raising them. I'm not sure we can give them the 29%, 30% raise they're looking for, but I would certainly think that. Just gonna get my calculator.
10,500, 11,000.
Well,
Do you have a percentage in mind? I can punch it in real quick.
the only thing I'm looking at is, I think they should be making more than Fabius. Is Fabius one judge though?
One judge,
Yeah,
one clerk.
Yeah.
Yep. So 10% would be 10,165, 10.2 probably would be a fair number for 10%.
well, if you figure they,
How about 3%? Or even 6%? What's the cost of living? What did it go up? 6%?
Isn't out yet. The talk is that it's going up 5% to 6% on the COLA. But Social Security doesn't release that number until mid-October normally.
October 1, I think they're starting to come out with everything I read the other day.
So 3% would be 9,517. And 6% would be 9,794.
Rounded off at 10,000.
I think, I like the 10 too.
10,000,
I thought, okay,
right from the beginning.
yeah,
I heard two people that like 10,000, I heard three, so I'm gonna change it for now. Okay. How do we feel on the clerks? I mean, it looks like a high percentage, but it's only $500.
well. Thoughts?
They're gonna have more paperwork too.
Exactly.
At 5,000 that they wanted.
Heard one.
$100
I think
Right.
so.
a year.
And I'm looking
500
at,
increase
I'm
by-
looking
I
at
think
what
I've
other
heard three of
clerks
them.
make.
That's-
And it's just, we gotta pay some people something, because some of these positions in the other towns. Fabius's clerk makes 5,000.
Yeah.
But we should, Spafford's clerk makes 6,000. And those are smaller towns than ours,
We
and,
certainly should be 5.
yeah.
5 it is.
And how about the town clerk? Where do we stand on that one?
What's Nikki's full salary completely?
There's an extra 2,000 that she gets if we collect the FM
JD?
JD school district, so there'd be 2,000 added to that. So this year it will be added to the 39,810, so it'll be 41,810 this year. But we don't always have to
Right.
collect the taxes, but we budget for it. For the school districts.
I think it's fine.
I think 3%, given what she's had to, she's really stepped up this year. Last year was an extraordinary year for her personally, but this year she's been right on the mark. And right on top of everything.
Okay, the deputy, asking to go from $14 to $15 an hour. And I don't think the hours significantly changed, so.
I'm fine with
$15 an
that.
hour is
I'm
fine.
definitely fine with that because she was here more than most, so.
15 it is.
And she's not on target to even hit this year's 7,000, so.
Yeah.
Okay, are we all right with keeping the 2,000 for the FMJD school taxes?
Yes.
Yes.
We can also look at that again later if those schools agree to give us more funding than what they have in the past.
When was the last time we asked for more funding? And I didn't know that we could ask for more.
I was
funding.
gonna ask you that
2 years ago.
myself. Why do,
Yeah, it was a few years ago.
it's per household, we get,
We get a dollar amount per unit collected.
and it's small, right?
So,
$3, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why wouldn't ask them for,
And most likely it's going to keep going down as more people start doing electronic payments too. So we
Sure.
won't be collecting as many units.
okay,
I don't know. I mean, we could ask Nikki when we see her next week, for a report on how many have been coming in.
okay.
But we also pay the postage for sending out the receipts and those type of things as well.
I don't think it matters online or coming in. It never used to.
so you get the $3.
Oh, I thought it was only on the units that were paid in person.
Think, because we always have to get a report of how many bills were collected. The school district doesn't know if it's online or, because it has to go through her records when she settles up.
Oh, that makes sense.
Services for other government. So this year we collected 4,928.50, it looks like, but I think there was one other thing in that revenue line. Let me go take a quick look. I think when you and I ran this analysis a while back, and that it was still pretty good that when we bumped it up the last time, that it was still covering our postage and
Oh, definitely.
supplies.
I hate these readers. I have to go like this to see you.
You buy focus.
I do. I just don't want to pay for them.
Okay, just a few small. So yeah, we received 4,272 from FM and 561 from JD. So a total of 4,833. So it's too late to ask for money for this year, but we could ask for more money from them for next year if you wanted to bump the salary. at
When does
this
that
point.
have to happen to?
Spring,
Yeah, I would say like,
March, April.
yeah,
So we should think about that for next year.
Mhm.
It's before their budget time. We have to put it in for.
yeah, and I think theirs have to be approved by May 15th. So I think February, March, April is the time to start asking.
Okay.
Are we comfortable with the 2,000 at this point then, or?
Yes,
The assessor has asked for a small increase and he's also asked to do a reval, so that's a separate area, but we'll be talking about later. So where do we stand on the assessor?
stay the same.
The 31.
Yeah, 750. When he actually does the reval, but
Right.
there'll be a lot more work. But
Well, he'll be
But we're getting
compensated
paid for
separately
it.
for that.
Right,
So I heard one person wanted to keep it 3175.
He won't like me for it, but
31,750.
I will go along with Carl. I mean, Larry won't like me for it.
Ann or Sheila, do you have a feeling on that one?
Annie, what do you feel?
Keep it the same. He'll be mad at all of us.
Yeah.
Sorry, Larry, if you're watching.
Okay, highway superintendent.
Yeah,
He's nice.
We're not asking for an increase, although it is a new highway superintendent. So I'm sure he wanted the job because he knew what the salary was.
Right.
So are we all comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay, highway total staff salaries I put in there for your reference. We'll talk about that when we get into the highway budget. Historian, she did not send me a request. Are we okay keeping her the
keep it
same?
the same.
Yes.
Mhm.
She's happy.
I would think she's happy if she didn't ask for more. Code enforcement officer. Do we want to talk about this one now or
We're gonna
wait?
go into executive session on that one.
Code enforcement clerk, are we happy with going to $15 an hour, but not increasing the total dollars to be spent?
Yes.
Yes,
yes,
Zoning clerk one also going to $15 an hour and keeping it the same,
yeah,
yeah,
because we don't have any real data, and same thing with planning clerk.
Yep.
Okay. Bookkeeper, budget officer, I did not ask for an increase this year.
okay.
Youth program director,
It's a lot of work involved in that.
I want to tell you, she was amazing this year.
I'd like to give her the raise.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I was, if not for the work that Tom and she did and whatever my part was, trying to figure it out. I don't know if we could have pulled that off, so I'm fine with it.
and then the youth program staff, I gave her some data on that. With the minimum wage, it's been going up $70 cents an hour for a number of years, so I think that number is fair. That she punched, I doctored hers a little bit because she was one staff member short, but. All right, with that one, okay?
So
What if she, okay, so what if they go into how many staff members they usually have?
That's what I
Is that
calculated
what you
that on.
did?
Yes,
Okay, okay.
we actually had to have,
COVID, did it, you had to have more with COVID?
no, we actually had to have the same number of staff. It was just they only worked half the year.
Okay,
yeah, they only had
You
two.
still need the same number of people watching the class spaces.
okay,
We just had that one session instead of two.
got it.
Okay, so we really didn't make a whole lot of difference to that bottom line at this point. So if we would like to go to page 1,
I'm just questioning, when do we want to do executive session? Do we want to do it at the very end of everything, or do we want to do it to discuss, because really it's only salaries and collective bargaining that we have to talk about.
Right.
So we could do it now and
Let's do it
then
now and get it over
finish
with.
I
this
agree.
part and then go back to the general fund and the highway.
Okay.
Want to do that?
How do you want to handle
So I
that?
need to, first of all,
Read your little
I need
spiel.
to, yes, I need to make sure that I need a motion, or I will make a motion, I guess, for this group to go into executive session for two reasons. The first being to discuss, where's the collective bargaining?
I think it's, should have something to do with the discussion of an individual or something.
Oh, no, section 105 of the Public Officers Law says that this would be the reasons we would go into executive session. First of all, collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law. And also, so to discuss the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. So I would move to go into executive session for those two reasons.
Second.
And second, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carried. So we will adjourn to executive session. We have to keep that going, but you can mute it, I think. And then we should probably go in Larry's office, is what I'm thinking.
fine.
I think. Okay.
And do you need me to come in or not come in? Or do you
I
want-
think you should.
Highway staff total payroll, VR, that was what we had talked about the other day.
Yep.
I have one more sheet of paper for you. I'll give you one of mine.
What do you
You
want?
mind? That was just the worksheet from what we talked about the other day.
Okay.
And then on the code enforcement officer, is the board in agreement to go to $35 an hour, 19 hours a week for next year?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. All right, did you want to start with the highway budget since BR's here and we can let him go and get some sleep, or you want to go to the general fund?
I think we should be nice to PR.
You think so?
Thank you.
Today.
I think maybe we'll have him come back at midnight and then we'll start on the highway budget.
You take care of that, dear?
No.
Maybe we'll make you stay.
All right, so we need to go dig into the packet, we're about in the middle.
Right up to what you see here.
If you'd like.
So we're on page EB7, it says at the bottom, and the top heading is highway fund appropriation. And so the first line is salaries, which we've already discussed.
B7.
EB7 is, looks like 9 pages in. Now, the second line is, we have a $50,000 multimodal grant for road paving, and I think we're going to use that in one of the subdivisions. I don't know if you need any more detail on that, board. And then the next line is the summer, that is the local share of paving. That's all of this, the gravel, the oil, the pipes, the fuel to get the stuff moved around the town. At the budget discussion, we said we should probably keep that at the same amount as this year. And we will see some escalation in some of the materials costs, so we may get a little bit less bang for our buck next year. But wanted to keep it the same. The next item is improvements. That is the CHIPS funding. That is a reimbursement by New York State. And you'll see that in the multimodal down at the bottom as a reimbursement. Now, that is only the basic CHIPS. This year, we also received a program called Pave New York and another one called Extreme Winter Recovery that we were able to use for the heavy-duty upgrades to our roads. And we're hoping to get those two next year, but this is just what the state gave us for CHIPS this year.
What was the other one? Pave New York and what?
Extreme Winter Recovery. And I'm gonna get rid of the 56 cents if you guys don't mind. Creates all kinds of havoc when I'm trying to set a tax rate. The next item is new equipment. So we have 180,000 in there for a loader and a pickup truck. And did I give you guys a scan of probably didn't give you a scan of the equipment list.
No.
Because it was in color and I didn't think it would work. So we're estimating that,
What number is it in here? Is there a number?
yeah, it isn't in there.
Last year's number.
Yeah, it's the same as last year's. There's been
It
no
is?
change. Yeah, equipment list 2020. So we were expecting to do a loader at approximately 250,000 would be the gross, but we're probably going to get a trade-in on that as well. And so we had estimated, I didn't write down a number, but Tom had given, Tom Bier, we talked about a
Do you have
number on
that?
that.
That quote that
But I do have the number. We're expecting to do 43,000 for the pickup truck. And so that would mean that it's about 135,000 roughly.
136.
Okay, I was close.
That was after rebate,
Yeah,
trade,
trade.
an estimated trade in value.
Yep.
Which could change too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we get the 180.
Yep.
You guys, is the pickup truck cost and then the payloader minus the trade-in.
And then you'll see down at the lower part of the page, we have ARPA. That's the 43,000. That was what we would like to use from the COVID funding to purchase that pickup truck. And that's where the 43,000 came from. Now, with our aging equipment, the next line is the repairs to equipment. So we felt that we should probably bump that up a little bit since we've been seeing a rise in that number for the last several years.
So just so I'm clear, the 180,000 is going to be offset by revenue, ARPA revenue of 43.
Right,
So we're
the
on-
pickup truck's value,
So the town's portion is going to be
the
36 and change.
Yeah.
Okay, so, here's my question. Is that, I guess I'm curious, like, what, I think I wanted to ask you this, Tom, what do your other towns budget for equipment, since you do so many?
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
are we in the ballpark? Are we over? Are we under? Or,
I'm probably a bit under. Now, the other thing to look at is the transfer to the reserve, the last line above the single line there, we're budgeting 115,000 in there as well towards future equipment. We've only got, I think, 24,000 or something in that account right now. When
where's
you
that
look
coming
at some
from?
of my, what's that?
Where's that 115 coming from?
It's the very last line before.
No, yeah, but where are we getting that from? What revenue is covering
And
it?
there's no revenue covering it. It is taxpayer revenue covering that.
Okay.
Because we have another large truck coming up soon, I believe. We need to replace a 2001 International, I believe.
Yep.
Next.
Do you have that list?
I make copies of this.
I
And
have it
we're
from
also
last year, it's the
supposed to-
same list.
I left mine at home.
Here, let me make a copy.
And we also were supposed to replace another pickup truck in 2023, which another old one coming up. So we need to start building up our reserves. 135,000 doesn't get us very far, but it's a step in the right direction. So you were asking about some of my other towns.
Curious. how we can do it.
Maybe it's too small. Georgetown's too small. Lafayette, let me pull it there. So their current budget, they have for machinery, 235,000 plus 80,000 going into their reserve. So they're at about 300. They're at 275,000 roughly that they're putting away between the two lines.
How much? 275?
275.
Well, actually, no, wait a minute. I'm looking at the wrong line. They started out with 193, 200, and they added 300. So they're putting 493, no, 350. I gotta look at the right lines here. Let me concentrate. Yeah, 315,000 is what Lafayette is putting toward new equipment. They're the closest in size to us. So 315,000 total between new equipment and transferring to their reserve.
Oh,
They're taking, right,
but adding
and
it up there.
adding it.
Size of the
Okay.
amount.
Okay,
And then,
that's a lot.
yep. And the Tisco is putting away 150,000, but they also roll all of their
What money's there.
sale of equipment back into that line if they sell any equipment. Tisco's a little smaller than
Bless
us.
you.
They're doing 150,000. Spafford is similar to Tisco, I guess, would be closer, but let's see what a smaller town's doing. All right, so they have 115,000 in their new equipment line, and they're transferring 241,000 to their reserve.
Wow.
So that's 356,000 they have in towards equipment. they were in real trouble a few years ago where they had a lot of really old equipment. So,
You know, like where we are now?
yes.
Yeah.
So they've been very diligent about putting anything extra that they get in towards that new equipment.
Is
Um,
there a benefit for us to keep it in? Put it into the
Well, the reason
line
to put
item,
it in,
equipment line item?
into the line item is for machinery that we know we're purchasing. We know we're buying a loader this year. We know we want to buy a pickup truck. The reserve is for putting it towards the next large truck that we're going to buy the following year. So we have a down payment for the next vehicle.
Okay, so it does.
So we're not gonna be taking so much next year's budget, like we won't have to expend as much. But we still have.
I don't know if I go that far.
But if we go over.
No, I didn't
we have
mean
the
if we already
money,
have 100.
is what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. If we need the money from the reserve, we can put it into that line item,
Correct.
which is a huge possibility.
Oh, it's very much a possibility.
So is there a benefit to leaving it in reserve versus putting it?
There is no other place to put it. You can't put it into an active purchase line if you're not planning on purchasing something.
Okay, you can't have extra money in there just in case it costs extra money?
I guess you could, but we
So there's
know,
no
we
benefit.
have pretty good numbers on what the state contract is on a pickup truck and a loader right now.
Okay, so there's no benefit.
Yeah.
It
No,
doesn't,
we don't want to put extra money in there for, if we don't have a reason
right,
to spend it.
that's what I was asking.
But we want to put it into the reserve so that when we need 400,000 next year, we've
Right.
got 100 and we can
Start towards
budget
Yep.
300 out of it. And we can still move it from the reserve if we needed it. Like, let's say that the loader came in
Yes.
$10,000 higher. We transfer 10,000 from the transfer to
Which happens
reserve.
and is very likely.
And then we'll only have 100,000 going into the reserve, unfortunately, which puts us in tougher shape the following year.
Yes.
So the next line after that, the 85,000, we've been seeing a sharp increase in the cost of repair parts. I mean, steel has gone crazy.
30% at least.
So if we go back a couple of years, just to give you a rough idea, in 2020, we had a fairly light year. We were at 64,000. The year before that, 19, we were at 78,000 spent. 2018, we were at 80,000. So bumping it up another 5,000 over what we actually spent in 2018 is probably not unrealistic. Any other questions on the machinery? So we have snow removal next. Why didn't we budget anything for snow
I
removal?
have a question mark there. I thought you didn't want to, if I recall, when we were talking about it until we knew what it was,
Yeah,
but we weren't sure. But I wondered about that.
yeah, I remember us talking about it and then
Yeah.
we never moved on it.
And I thought maybe
So-
it's one of those things where if you get the revenue in, then you put that amount up there.
No, it's in the next line, the snow removal for other governments. I remember us, yeah, and I never filled it in on my sheet either. I know we talked about it,
Well,
never,
that's a problem now.
never came back to it. So last year we spent 43,000 there. The year before that, 86, the year before that, 83, the year before that, 73, the year before that, 60,000.
I don't like.
So
those.
that is a problem.
Yeah, it's gonna mess us up. Another number.
I think we at least have to go. Although we bumped up the other total, let me see what it would be if we use the same totals as last year. So that would mean that number, if we had the same for total snow fighting, it would be 59,000.
And that covers what?
That covers the salt and the sand, the fuel, cutting blades, that type of stuff for all the winter
Fuels in
activity.
there?
Fuel goes into there as well.
That's another problem. costed in.
Huge problem.
Yeah. I don't think we can scrimp on that
Can't
line
scrimp on
because of
No.
fuel.
Fuels up.
Not just
Yeah.
fuel, everything's gone up.
Yeah, I know.
Parts,
Just- Well, I
cutting
don't
blades,
know.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just saying, fuel especially.
I thought we caught everything the other day when we were at the
Yeah.
workshop. Well, that'll give us the same, so it's a no increase over last year if we put 59,000 in there.
What was it last year though?
It was 62, but we increased the amount that we're getting from other governments, the snow plowing for other governments. So that's where we can drop it down a little bit. The county's covering a little more of
Oh, gotcha.
the cost for us. So the next area is snow removal for other governments, the 156,596 matches the revenue a little bit further down on the page, the 156,596 there.
Mhm.
And so we need to match our services for other governments total to the total for the revenue coming in. And so what we did was we took the salary numbers that we used and then subtracted out that from the total to give us the 94,696 for the snow fighting. And then we said we were going to go and adjust that other one, and we never went back to it.
And keep in mind, we'll be running an extra truck this year too. Off all goes well.
Fleet has increased.
Yes, it is.
But I thought that's not delivered till March at the earliest.
No,
Oh, is that a different one?
that's a different one.
Okay.
As last year, they had 2 spares. But this year, we're gonna run 4 big trucks.
Oh, so you were just using one you already have
Yes.
that you didn't use last year?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so the next, the employee benefits are just based on our current mix. So state retirement, we have that bill in, estimated bill in hand, so 42 should be a good number. Social Security, we didn't have a huge increase in salary, so we're keeping that the same. Disability shouldn't change. Hospital and medical is based on our current mix of employees. But we're trying to hire 2 new people, so we budgeted for family insurance, kind of a worst case scenario in this situation. So if the people you hire are not interested in family coverage and will go to single or waive.
That's one. I talked to one tonight. He's just gonna do a single.
Okay.
Not, well, then we should probably look at dropping a little bit out of that.
If you can drop out of that, you want to put it into your snow removal.
Well, it's gonna help offset that number we just added in.
Yes.
Yep.
So we can drop 19,000 out of the hospital and medical bill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a good chunk.
How much?
19,000
That's the difference between family.
and single. I mean, at today's rates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We expect to have an increase next year. So that new number is 256,000 if you're not looking at the screen. And then debt service is the Gulf Road borrowing. I think we have one more year after this, if I'm not mistaken.
That'd be great. Only one?
I think it's only one more year.
That's a chunk of change too.
Yeah, that'll be nice with this. I stuck it in here, but I only have the bonding for the water tower in here. I don't think I have that on here, but I think, I'm almost positive there's one more year. So our changes that we've made at the bottom, we went from 1,831,000 to 1,871,000. So we've got about a $40,000 net increase there.
Okay. Let's see how that works out at the end.
Revenue side, I already talked about the services for the governments. We do get fuel reimbursements when the fire departments use our fuel. Interest rates have crashed, so we're not getting any interest coming in. And the sale of equipment was the sale of the old pickup truck, which is a very old pickup truck. And then we have the multimodal and the CHIPS money and the ARPA funding. And that's the end of the highway fund budget. Was there any other concerns or anything that we want to go back up there and look at?
It's good,
You know, it's not good that we never
we
finished
missed
that other line when we were.
Yeah.
but we're gonna have to really look at that at the end, to see where that leaves us, because that might change a little bit. Maybe,
Right, so if we want to go back to,
I know. Not easy.
there's a few line items that are sort of affect the general fund line items that BR should be here, so don't excuse them quite yet.
I'm not, because we might need them at the end. On TB5, are we missing social security too?
It's possible. We are. Well, and with that I gotta go and adjust too, so now that we have some new salary numbers in there. So I'll go look at that when we get to that point.
Just wanted to.
So on TB2, the first line is unchanged, the second line. You decided to go to 20,000 for the justice's salary. So that's a drop of 4,000 from what we originally looked at. Supervisor, there was $800 added for a desk, I believe.
Yeah.
And then no changes contractual. Bookkeeper, no changes. Tax collection, pretty much flat. The 10-2 may be a little bit high because I believe now that we're using the county program, I think they knocked 2,000 off of our charge. They were charging us $2 per parcel for printing the tax bills, and now they're charging us $1. So I'm thinking we might be able to drop that one by the number of parcels. Do you have that the salary sheet that I prepared for all the towns? It is the number of parcels on the bottom. We have 3,626 parcels. So we could probably knock 3,000 off of that
Wow,
number.
that won't hurt Nikki's.
It shouldn't, because that gives us 7,200. Last year she was at 6,750. Budget, that's no change. Assessor, you guys went back to 31,750, I believe.
Yes,
And the next item was the reval. So it's a 3-year program. It was in that packet for you guys to look at
It's number 10, you guys.
in the other packet. And I don't have that up on the computer screen here.
Yeah, it's number 10.
So it would be a 3-year commitment. He's asking to do the reval for, oh, there's the number again, 362. He's asking for $1.58 per parcel to be spread out over 3 years.
$1.58?
Yep.
Oh, so that's not 11.58?
Or I'm sorry, it is 11.58. I'm sorry,
Oh.
11.58.
I
think the last time it was,
this,
usually the last time we did one of these, it was probably around $10 per parcel or something.
And it was probably 10 years ago. because
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
it
on
was a
the
very
board
long
back-
time
yeah,
ago.
It was a long time ago.
But we are at what, 89
We're at 89
equalization.
equalization rate, and it keeps impacting so many things.
Anything that we do that crosses a town border, so all of the school taxes, like FM is at a Fayetteville and Manlius is at 100% equalization. So they take our current value of our home and or divide it to come up with what our real 100% assessment would be. So not really realistic way of doing it. Because the 89% is not really a true measure. It's just a measure of the houses that are selling, not the real value of all the houses. It also affects our county taxes, and I'm not sure where Casanova is, but I think they're close to 100% assessment too.
So how he explained it to me is he was gonna ease us into the cost of this by having it be gradually increased. So in 2022, we would have less of a cost in our budget than, but then it would increase in 2023. But then I see 2024 is it's less than it would be for next year.
I
So,
think in 2024 is kind of like the very wind down, and there's very little, it's just data at that point. But I believe 22 and 23 is actually going out and physically looking at parcels, was his description.
Is this something that has to be done? This year?
Well, it's going to take 2 years before it comes to
Yeah.
fruition.
it's a 2-year process to go through the
Is this
revale.
something that we have to vote on this year? Do we have to vote on this? Is this something? we have to put into our budget?
If we want to start it next year, we do. If we want it to be effective in 2 years, we have to put it in the budget
Why
now.
don't we wait and see where our budget comes out right now? With the missing items and
Yeah,
with what.
the only thing I will say about the revale is that it is long overdue. And a lot of the assessed values on properties are not equal. And so, and we're seeing it in school taxes. So when people come to get their school taxes for JV and FM that live in Pompey, they have an assessed value and they're paying more in their school taxes than somebody who lives in JV pays for the exact same house assessed at that value. So there's discrepancies is the thing. So whether or not
Can we wait
I
and
can
see?
say, the answer to your question actually is, no, it's not absolutely necessary.
Right.
Is it it's so long overdue. I mean, some towns reassess, revale, all the time, but
The Board of Assessment Review will have a very busy night.
yes, they will.
Because there's gonna be a lot of unhappy people.
Well,
So I guess I just am feeling a little uncomfortable because we have some line items.
Yeah, I know.
Now I haven't seen everything, so I would just prefer to not answer on this.
well, we can put it off.
With that,
And
So I
put
think
it
let's
off.
leave it in there for now and come back and visit it.
Sure.
I'm gonna red mark it on that. Not everybody will be happy or unhappy, but
Are we comfortable rounding the clerk salary to an even 41,000, or do we need to keep $4? on the end?
41,000.
All right, we already talked about the clerk salary. So she has $800 in there for equipment, the same as last year, and she kept her contractual, which looks pretty fair to last year. She was at 4,500. Gives her a little room. Attorney, we kept the contractual the same, and we left the $3,000 in there for the labor portion of that. Engineering, I have no idea. I kept the budget the same. It's up and down. Halfway through the year this year, we had spent $11,334. So to me, that kind of means the 25,000 is probably a pretty fair number.
Yeah. That stays.
I would leave it.
Okay. Public information website, that is everything that Veronica does for us, except for some of the outline stuff. So she'd asked to keep the rate the same. Still comfortable with that?
I just want to be sure that you've got the hosting and the email accounts somewhere in here.
That is under the
Is it central communication?
central
contractual?
communications systems. So the contract is, yep. And then the hourly includes when we call them out to do work for us, and it also includes all those other miscellaneous things.
But where is the net manager expense, the every month?
That's the last line down there, A1680.4 contract.
And I don't think we do have the,
The 3,000 is,
Remember, this is Bob Ruggiero.
yeah, this is not with net manager. Bob Ruggiero has our, what do you call
But
it?
he didn't want to handle the billing anymore. So now it's coming all through me. So I just want to be sure that,
so the
So-
3,000 is kind of like the catch-all. That's there, right up, that says hourly. So that's where I would apply any of the billing that we get for upgrading systems or fixing computers. It's outside of the backup and everything else.
So the yearly email account
Would
charges
come out of there.
$70
A unit.
town of Pompey.org account, and then. So you're not saying that 3,000, I didn't know what that 3,000 was for. I didn't know if you thought it was all for tech assistance, but it isn't.
No, it's for
Okay.
all of the things that we need to get done. The tech assistance is probably like $1,200
Okay,
of it.
so 1,800 in there for the licenses and for the,
I don't have it on the top of my head.
I know.
Let me open it up and see what it is.
Yeah, I think we added a couple, and we just
So it
added
would
you.
be a yearly charge for Wix that gets funneled through me. And,
The town of Pompey.org accounts.
yeah, and what about Gmail? Was that another?
It
thing?
doesn't cost.
Okay, so the Gmails
just
are
the
free.
town of
It's just the
Pompey.org.
town of Pompey
Yep.
emails. And those are billed once a year.
That's not through Nikki, maybe?
So Zoom was 855. The
For the whole year.
WebGL for the couple of small things was $200. And then we had the large cost of $2,591. That was for the balance of getting this whole system up and running.
That was the tech, that was his install.
That's
cost?
Dan Bender, that's Dan
Yeah,
Bender.
that's
Dan
Dan
Bender.
Bender.
Yeah.
And Zoom is a monthly charge.
No, it's an annual charge, I think, isn't it?
There's
Yeah, I include,
there's an annual charge plus a monthly,
yeah,
plus the Wix charges.
Wix meaning,
Wix is how, that's where the site lives
okay,
and where I,
That's the host for this.
okay.
so I just want to check those numbers at home and then make sure you've got it covered
yeah.
somewhere.
The monthly I cover under your contract portion. The monthly Zoom charge was like
Right.
$18 or $19. I cover that under your budget.
What have you got for us paying WebGL? Because that's where, the license, or the,
Right, and I want to be
the
sure
email
that
accounts are.
because they switched the billing over to me, I want to be sure that you're not double, that you don't have a line item for WebGeo and a line item for me, when it really should only be one.
So is the amount that, this amount on your contractual line enough to cover those?
I don't,
I was
I
gonna
don't,
say, I don't think.
I
you
don't
ever-
think so.
I don't think so
no, because
either.
one of them's like $2,000. Trying to think.
So your billing, yeah, yours varies every month. There's your billing up there right now. So January is 589, 554.7. And it dropped off a little bit. But we haven't paid you for those, reimbursed you for those outside services unless part of it was in this bigger one, the 7,000 one, or 750.
Those big bills came in like January and February of this year.
That's when we paid them, was in March.
No, there
What are the
should be
bigger
one for like $2,000 or something for Wix. So it's
Would we
probably
have
been-
paid that too?
It would have been paid to me,
Was that a one-time fee?
yeah. But it,
So that's the 2,000 that you had on the other line item, or that would have been WebGeo? You'd have to go back to WebGeo. That was net IT, not.
Yeah, I don't see a large payment to you other than a couple of months there that were a little bit larger. And I'm almost positive the 6-1 was the balance of that we paid to net management was for these things.
I don't know, I'm gonna have to look them all up.
Well, you could just call WebGeo and ask them for an accounting for
That's
everything
fine.
for the year, and then ask Dan. He'll give you an accounting.
Well, we have all that accounting. I mean, we could pull the invoice from 315 to see what was included in that 757.
Cause I know those big bills got transferred to my credit card, but
There's only two places I would have, if there was a $2,000 charge, it was only the two lines that I could have charged them to, yours or the other one.
okay.
Let me look at last year.
For what Bob does, Rugio, it doesn't cost a lot. I know that.
No, I mean, he doesn't charge.
Yeah,
It was for Wix and for the emails. They didn't wanna, because they're not doing much work for you at all,
Mhm.
and it's all through Wix. We wanted to just keep it in one spot.
Yeah.
So that all the billing now, instead of getting bills from Bob Rugio and bills from me, now it's all coming
Yeah.
from me.
Yeah.
So it was just to consolidate.
so I wonder. if
All
we
right,
should
so
try to change-
last year, we charged everything through the one area here.
We should change that, Veronica, so that it comes through the town somehow and not,
Yeah, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
we
You
can.
only
in the
want to
future.
accept it on a credit card, I believe, is what the problem is, right?
Well, we can change that too. huh? The town.
Yeah, last year we just put everything under the one line there.
Those email accounts were $70 each. So I know that. I mean, I just remember it. So it was 70 times however many we first had, and then we've
Right there,
added.
311.
I think there's 16 now.
I was gonna
There's-
say,
Right
there was
there.
15,
Yeah.
and now there's 16 accounts.
So which of the, is that an annual fee, the web?
Yes,
Yeah,
once a year.
for the. Yeah, 1120 would be the total for the
Right.
.org accounts,
But
16.
prior to that, it would have been 15 times 70, which would have been 1050. So,
yeah, but it would have been mixed into another bill probably.
uh,
Because he never bills anything separately. It all comes through with
Mm,
mixed in with everything else. So probably this year, there's a reimbursement for the Zoom, and maybe that was also for one of the other things, the 855.
oh, in February,
Yeah. That's probably what that was. That was probably all those other
yeah.
charges we took over. Because the net managements are all the 220 that we'd expect. And then the web geos are just the miscellaneous stuff.
I think the only way to resolve it is to get the yearly billing of what it will be.
Yeah, I'll just have to give you an itemized.
Yeah, and they'll give you that.
We can get that to you tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll be meeting again to do.
I know that we went over all that when we decided to go with everything anyway. And it was within our means, so. So I guess we got to go back to that.
Mhm.
Okay, so on the buildings, the town hall, we hopefully going to resolve the heat pump shortly and the windows.
mhm.
And so for next year, we just have $2,000 in for new equipment. We just got our first billing in today for the cleaning contract. That was on page 13 of this packet. I'm just trying to see if we got enough in there for that.
It was $541. Right?
1 month.
Today's bill?
Yep.
That was 5 cleanings.
And I had only scheduled 4,400 for next year.
Well, and we're also gonna take up on the next board meeting, the cleaning of the highway garage, but I think you're looking at once a month.
Once a month.
So it's like, but that's gonna be the same rate.
So.
Other thing we need to get is water heater.
So how many times are you having them coming in for the cleaning? Renee,
Oh, I didn't know you were talking to me.
how many times a month? Are they just coming once a month? Once a week? What are
They
they?
come once a week here
Once a
to
week?
clean.
Okay,
That's, it's subject to like modification because we don't know exactly, we didn't know exactly how often we need to clean here because it's been so long since there's been regular cleaning here.
sure.
So I talked to Erica, I said, let's see how it goes. You can figure out if we need less often, depending on the traffic, because right now it's tax season, so the traffic is up.
Mhm.
But once November hits and December, the traffic gets slowed right down. So there might be some months where we don't need as
Every other
often, but I
Wednesday.
also, she's also doing COVID cleaning, so
Right.
she's making sure she's doing,
Sure.
you know, so I don't know. I don't know what the,
So that indicates to me that we probably need to add another $1,200. We can cut back on the repairs. I don't think we are gonna spend our entire repair budget for next year. There were 33 last year. We add another 5,600. It's just over 38,000.
which line? Sorry,
The building's contractual, A1620.4.
it's just over what?
Well, last year we were at about 33,000.
Mhm.
I had estimated cleaning at $80 a week, but it looks like it's 108.33 per week. If that was for 5 cleanings.
I don't know why she changed it. She originally had $500 and then she sent another one for 540 something today. And so I don't know why she
Tax.
changed it.
No, I don't think so. It said, the original one, she said she added one more cleaning to.
And her rate is 125 every time she comes.
How many hours is she here?
Then it really
She has a
doesn't make
crew.
sense.
It's like, there's 3 people that come, so they're done and I mean,
Quickly.
they're very efficient.
So if it was 125 each time, that'd be 6,500. I was just basing it on this bill being for 5 weeks. Does she clean more than once a week?
No. But where does the highway cleaning go under? the
That would
same
go
line?
under the central garage contractual
All
expense.
right,
I'm thinking we may want to add a couple thousand to that 38,000. Because I had only budgeted 4,400 for cleaning.
yeah, well, trying to find somebody to clean and what they charge right now.
Yeah.
Again, is difficult.
And with COVID.
I have it, yeah.
So I'm thinking we should probably change the 38,000 to 40,000 just to be safe.
Right. You know, can we go back to the equipment line, that
Yep.
1620? So the county ARPA
Mhm.
application I submitted covers both the water treatment system for the town hall, and it would cover a water heater for the town hall, as well as painting
Mhm.
in the lobby. But, and we're supposed to hear on that this month, over the month of October.
but I don't know how we factor that. I know, because I don't, if we
Yeah,
don't
if
get
we
it,
don't
then
get
we
it.
need to cover that. But if we get it, then it'll offset it.
I mean, this year, we're not in terrible shape for our buildings contractual. Halfway through the year, we'd only spent 6,000. Let me get on the right line. 14,000 of the 38,000 halfway through the year, because we hadn't had as many repairs as we did last year. And we had the sewer problems and the well
Yeah.
problems. And all that. We haven't really gotten into the 5,000 I normally budget for normal building repairs, which would probably cover a water heater and
It would cover the water heater. It won't cover the water treatment system,
No.
which was 8,700.
When did they say they would let you know?
They were reviewing applications in September. That's what they said, but whatever their review committee was.
Okay.
And then they were supposed to be making the announcement of the awards, letting people know if they made whatever awards they made. So
When are we supposed to meet in October? We already have it
The 4th.
scheduled. The 4th?
I mean, I can,
So do we want to put that off a little? Can we put that off a little?
well, right now, we don't have anything budgeted if that doesn't come through, I guess is what Renee is
yeah,
saying.
that's what I'm just
Okay.
trying to figure out how we.
The 2,000 is just in case we need a printer, a file cabinet, a computer.
Gotcha.
So our next meeting is, I show the 4th is our regular meeting with a public hearing, then meeting again on the 7th of October at 6 PM a Thursday.
If we need it, yeah.
So how much are you thinking?
Well, the water heater, I think is.
The water heater we can cover.
Yeah,
It's
I don't-
only That's less than
Yeah,
1,000
it's the- and-
probably.
And the water treatment system is
That was like
87.
7,000 or 8,000, wasn't it?
100, yeah. We have to cover 25% of the
Right.
cost of these, but the county's picking up 75% if we get it, so. I just don't know how to account for it in this process. How do we?
Well, we're hoping that it gets done this year, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
yes,
it's not
yes.
really part of next year's budget.
Except if we don't get it in time.
Well, we're still in really good shape
Okay,
in
so
our
I'm not gonna,
buildings account at this point, I guess is what I was saying.
I'm not gonna worry about it right now.
Because we have 24,000 left halfway through the year.
Okay.
in The buildings account.
Not gonna worry about it right now.
So we should have it done just in case. Right?
What'd you say, Sheila?
We should have enough.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I mean, unless something else goes bad.
Well, you better knock on wood, Thomas Chartrand.
We put some of that money aside for the. Money for the.
We have $20,000 in the current budget
Yeah.
for heat pumps and 7,300 for
Windows,
windows.
and we're not spending that.
And we've only spent 2,247, and I think that was on a computer for somebody.
Debbie?
Maybe it was Debbie's computer, and then there was a couple other small equipment purchases.
So,
So we still have 25,000 left there.
okay.
And the heat pumps, or NYSERDA is gonna cover part of that. Right? And we could use ARPA money for the heat pumps as well.
Yes,
If they
Yes.
make the
the
filter,
COVID filters.
COVID filter.
John keeps telling me they're COVID filters. So, and I think you've said it enough to him that he knows they need to have. COVID
I hope so. Central garage equipment, the first item that BR talked about was a fuel monitoring system. You might want to give us more detail on how that works.
Well, the fuel pump, they're like original out here.
Yep.
Half the keys aren't working on them. It's hard to keep track of what we're using and what it's going to, so. Caitlin had got a bid,
A quote probably.
a quote, yeah. So like 15 grand to update the whole system. Better monitor everything. What is, or she gave it to me or not?
Oh, I thought it was, I had written down 20,000 that we talked
I
about.
thought it was like 15.
Maybe we need to cut that back a little bit.
talk about that last week?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why I wrote down 20,000, which was really 15.
15,526.
Okay. Oh, but that was from 2017, wasn't it?
That's right. That's why we.
That's
that's
why- I knew there had to be a reason.
How do you remember those guys? Amazing.
I'm a numbers idiot, I guess. So, yeah, that's a small, not really a small increase when we consider it was 5 years ago or better.
Yep.
So can we do that?
Well, I'll probably get a few bids
Yeah,
actually.
that's what I was gonna say. Maybe three's good enough.
Yeah.
You have to.
Well, it's, at this level, we need 3
That's why I
quotes.
said it.
Yeah.
I got that down pat after 4 years or
But I think for budget standards, that's probably a good starting place.
Yeah.
Since we have a 5-year-old one that's 16,000. The next item is the roofs. So Tom had something from the county contract on that.
That's
I
from
believe.
Joe's All.
You know, they're the county contractor for roofing.
And that was 188,200. That was for metal roof replacement on the main building. Center roof area only. Approximately 11,000 square foot. Joe's All set is that company that
It's the company that was.
they're like a county.
They're on
bidding
county
for-
contract, so we can
contract, yeah.
piggyback onto the county contract to use them, which avoids the whole bid process,
Yeah.
which is a big expense that we don't have to incur.
Well, it's also
But-
the engineering expense too. We don't have to incur.
Yeah,
Except that.
Writing the bids.
Yes,
So-
but I thought when we talked last week, you were concerned that this might not be the right way to go, that proposal. You might want it
that's why
to,
I would
So-
like some other opinions on it. to be
Yeah.
Honest with you.
but I'm just saying, is that 188 good for the moment? Because when we talked as well, that roof needs to be fixed.
Yes. it does.
It's the original roof, leaks down on the equipment unless you seal it every year, which is a whole
Which
project. I
they've
mean,
done.
yeah, and the guys have to go up there
All
and,
the time.
yeah, every year.
So are you thinking you can get it cheaper?
Very possible.
So we'll leave that number in there as like worst case scenario, but we also talked about putting some ARPA funds towards that, so it wouldn't be totally, because it's a
It's a
eligible.
one-time for a very long time type charge. Kind of fits the ARPA
yeah, it's
Yep.
perfect.
program for us.
ARPA.
And then the contractual expense on the building has been running a little bit lower than the 45,000 that we had in there. So we're talking cleaning once a month at 125. So that's
Yeah.
$1,500. So I think
For
at this
you.
point, that budget can probably absorb once a month cleaning at 125
Okay,
at the 40,000.
So how
Because
do we go from $83 per cleaning to, from what she bid? 25 now.
Well,
no, she
said-
didn't bid 83.
Oh, I
He
thought
was
you said-
saying, somebody.
I took the bill that she told us was
Oh.
5 cleanings and divided it, but maybe one was a lighter
Yeah, I
cleaning
don't
or
know what
less
that-
hours. or
Unless it was, I don't know what that was, because she originally just put in for 500, which would be 4 cleanings. And then she upped the bill a little bit, but not enough for a whole cleaning. So I don't know if she charged something for doing going down to the highway. I can't imagine we charge for doing an estimate, a proposal, but
Right.
she's saying 125 for you guys too, and if you, but she wants to do a deep cleaning first.
You know, that may be part of this bill too. She may have done a deep cleaning
The
first.
first time around, when you go in and you clean, you
Yeah.
do a deep clean.
Well, especially down
Might
there.
Have something. to
But I
do
also
with
think that that some of that can get
Just call her and
absorbed in this year once she starts, because.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
the
we're
deep
good
cleaning will
this
get
year.
absorbed this year if you're starting
Yeah.
with this year.
So we should be okay with next year with that.
Yeah, I think 40,000 is fair at this point. All right, central communication, we talked about 3,200 in there this year for equipment upgrades.
I I talked to Dan Bender today because the reason we had 3,200 last year
It was a server. Yep.
I said, what are our equipment needs this year? He said, we could do with half of that amount. He doesn't see where we really have any. Your computer is coming this year, so it's not
Yep,
next
we've already
year.
taken care of that.
Sweet.
And we have savings, we should have savings with the phone, he was saying, so he just doesn't see where we
Oh,
need.
that would be the buildings account. Yeah, I don't have any guidance on that right now.
Yeah, neither, I know, but the, he doesn't think we need to budget 3,200.
Okay, why don't we knock that down to 2,000?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
BR, did you put anything in for Bob for salt?
For Bob to have computer?
You can use yours.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So Bob's cell phone actually, was that town issued?
No, the only cell phone that's town issued is the highway
That's about,
superintendent.
I meant Tom.
Tom's is,
That's what I
yeah,
meant, I'm sorry.
Did you finally get it?
He gave it to me, but he cleared it.
Oh,
So
that's
that's,
the number.
the number is through the town, okay?
yes, we pay that every month. And there's also a tablet that you have down there, like a Toshiba tablet or something that had cell and internet service out there in the real world, but Caitlin sent me a note that she wanted that service canceled because you guys weren't using it like that anymore.
The only
So
addition
we-
would be is actually a mechanic. He's probably gonna want a computer.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Because they're using,
Yes.
I just noticed when I was in there, they're Rolodexing and like,
Yes.
they're not, there's,
So did that
That'll help
equipment,
me.
would that be equipment out of
I
the
felt bad
central?
for them.
It would normally come out of the
God.
garage, but I mean, it could come out of this, it could come out of the.
Better off calling
simplification.
me. Get it.
We're moving money this year into BR's equipment account to cover the computer we're buying now.
Yeah,
Well, maybe you could do it for the.
There may be enough left this
I
year
was
in
gonna
that
say this
movement.
year, that could be.
We don't have that bill yet, so I don't know.
Because I think there was plenty for what your.
Yeah, there was plenty for his
requirement was.
computer.
And a smaller, probably he wants a little one, not a big
or the
thing.
laptop or something.
Yeah,
Some of these need to carry a lot of proprietary software and stuff, so they may be special needs.
But did Caitlin go through you to get rid of that tablet and decide on all of that?
She sent me a note that the tablet was not being used anymore.
so but you should turn that tablet in to Nikki.
Well, no, I mean,
Well,
they just don't use it out.
Gonna use it?
They're not, my thought was they're not using it out in the field. They're not using the wireless internet on it. People just grab their phones if they want to use it out in the field.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, Sheila?
I do,
I think they're
but
still
what
using
if-
it for.
I'm just saying, what if he decides he might be giving it to somebody else? I just, you know what I'm saying?
They can reactivate it either.
Yeah, we'd be able to
But
reactivate
be
it.
careful because sometimes it
Yeah.
costs more to reactivate something than to deactivate.
I don't think we'll need it.
Okay. Okay,
Nikki may have a hard time getting it deactivated because it listed Barb Dean as the authorizer on it.
oh boy.
It may not happen right away.
My God.
Well, we had the same problem with our prior town clerk's name was the only authorized on some of the stuff too.
Yeah,
Okay,
So at this point, let's see, so we dropped down to 2,000 on central communication. Left that all alone. Okay, so now we're down to central printing. So we talked about possibly doing a newsletter this year. I put in $800. I don't really have a good strong number on that. I know that Lafayette, when they mail them out, the postage alone is, I just wrote the check today, it's close to $700.
yeah.
And the printing's like $1,200 just for one.
so I would, if you're gonna
Leave it
keep that line item in there, I would put at least $1,700 in there.
Well, we have a lot more parcels than Lafayette. I think it needs to be about 2,000 if you're really gonna do this.
Yeah, it's about 3,994.
And there'll be some extra cost from my
And
side.
that's postage included.
But will that be up in your
I just did this, so I know.
line, or that's additional?
Yeah,
We'll have to see.
Put $2,000 in there just to be safe.
Yeah,
Okay, the contractual expense, that's all of the ads we put in. It's the postage that runs through the postage meter. I do charge some off to the departments, like the tax collector. We estimate what the cost is for sending out the notices, and we charge that off against tax collector. We charge some off towards the justices for their postage. Halfway through the year this year, we were at 2,600. So I think the 6,000 is probably accurate. We had some extra notices and stuff last year. So I'm pretty comfortable with the 6,000 at this point. Unallocated insurance, our first bill was 34,000. We still have another insurance bill coming in. You can see we're at almost 37 last year, and it just goes up every year by a few percent. Association dues, that's the Association of Towns. We keep a few dollars in there for judgments and claims. That's when somebody disputes their assessment or something like that, or if there's a tax refund or something like that. Workshops, I have 2,000 in there. As long as nobody's going to New York City and we're doing local, it's probably enough. Contingent, I left that at 25,000. We didn't hit it much last year. This year, we hit it for 3,000 for the publicity stuff that we did this year. Police and constable,
Tom, though, wait a minute.
Yep.
If we were gonna update the codes,
oh, that would be,
Where would that go?
I'm trying to determine with that. I think the last time we did it, I think we did it under zoning.
Okay.
I think so,
Zoning.
too.
All right.
And I do have an open line down there, so we would be able to do that. Get it right in quickly. So police and constable, Renee and I talked a little bit about this. We think we need to bump it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at what we've spent so far this year and it's not significant.
No, not
Relative
yet.
to the, no, it isn't, but I also, the special details are getting harder and harder to request because the sheriff's office are down staff, deputies, and they're not signing up for overtime because they're burnt out. They can't, they only want to do so much overtime.
Yeah.
So I can't get them out here, even if we have, and I'll tell you something, every single one of these north-south roads could have somebody sitting on them because they're just speed, they just speed. But, so I don't know if we could get them out here, we could use them, but we haven't, like this month, September, I couldn't get a single one. Other than to do court. So it's a struggle with the,
I think you guys just did a bill tonight too that was
it
for,
was like 3,400 or
yeah,
something.
that sounds.
And that's like doubles what we spent so far this year, unless I'm mistaken,
No, I think you're right.
which is peanuts. I mean, we,
Yeah, 3,500 for August.
yeah, so my original thought when I looked at this line, when I
Didn't we
upped
go
it,
from like 40,000?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, we're at
45,
like close
yeah.
to 50,000, I think.
But-
this year.
my original thought when I looked at this line item was to take into consideration that we have 4 justice court nights, 1 deputy for those nights. But then what I've been working with the sheriffs on, because speed is such an issue out here and it's so hard to control, that we wanted to do random twice a month, just pick an area of the town. I've sent them a list. These are the problem areas. Pick an area of the town and hit it for a day or two, a night or two, or during rush, morning or evening. And if we did that a couple times a month, that's where the 22,000 totals up to, but I have no idea if we're gonna, I don't know what the future
Well,
holds.
and there will be an increase in the cost
Yes,
because
there
they're,
will.
they're upping their salaries that they're paying everybody. So it's a 10% increase. 5 or 6 of that may be just eaten up by the base
All right,
cost.
so 22 is good, you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the entry signs, we just purchased the new entry signs, 6 of them. We have a new sign that we want up in the hamlet of Pompey, correct? And we had estimated about $1,000.
I think that's more than we need, but I don't know what it is, so.
I think it's safe.
Yeah, exactly.
And then under contractual expense, that's all the street signs, the street name signs and all those type of things. No parking that BR will be buying next year when they get plowed over and run over by people. Control of dogs, we have those contracts, so that one's pretty much set. Next page. Assessment review, that's what we need if they all show up and we pay them. Drug testing. Hopefully they'll start charging us. The problem is they come out and do the test and then they wait like 2 years and then charge us for like 2 years. So that's why we don't have any money last year showing up there. The COVID cost, that was in last year's budget, we took that out. Highway superintendent, we kept the salary the same. We did increase the contractual expense, and that's where we office expense and also dues for the state and local associations, office supplies, those type of things come out of there. But with a new guy coming out, he may find that he needs more small stuff around the office.
He needs paper clips and
Yep.
scissors and rulers and.
The street lighting, I left the same. I just don't have enough data yet on the billing. We've only
Same with
had
phone.
like 2 months.
I
Yeah,
know.
we've had 2 months with the new billing, so. And one of those didn't even have the whole month on it. Programs for the aging, that's senior citizens trips. They asked for the same as this year. Youth programs, we talked about the salaries. The contractual expense, last year we had knocked off 500 because we paid the $500 deposit in the previous year, so I put the 500 back in. And I know that Bill Hauser said it'll probably go up next year, but
Yeah,
I didn't really budget anything for that.
well, yeah, I can look and see if I have something that shows it. Where's the swim program? What number? Oh, here it is.
It's the one that you said you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
read very good.
No, yours
Printed
is so much
sideways.
better. I just wondered,
Yes, page 23.
Yeah. so my question is, should we be paying $15 minimum, but which will bump up? You know, if we pay I mean, I'm looking at the swim aids and then the lifeguards and then the WSIs, and the WSIs are the only ones that are over $15. I'm not-
She was able to find them this year
Yeah.
at minimum wage.
Yeah,
I guess that would be my only argument. We are giving them a 70-cent raise. Swim aids.
okay. Okay. Just, I know you had up the top minimum wage.
You know, that would be my
Question mark.
guess. I mean, we won't know until the state finally sets it. And who knows when they're gonna do that?
I'm hearing October 1.
Man, you think everything's gonna happen October 1 with the state and federal government, huh?
I read, believe me, we're waiting with.
You're in the
bated
same
breath.
boat, I
Are you
bet.
kidding? Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion on that, youth? Historian, no change, historical properties. We had done the fixing up of the front hallway, and I heard that we need a tree trimming project over there, Carl.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And so I did schedule $1,000 for tree trimming next year.
Gotta take.
Does
the
that
whole-
sound adequate?
Yeah, 1,000 to 1,400 maybe.
Is that something you guys can do or that
No,
gets hired
no, it's
out?
gotta have a bucket truck.
Oh, all right.
Something Nelson yeah,
Okay.
or Griffith.
What do you think it could cost?
I think it's probably more than 1,000. Yeah, I don't, at minimum, 1,000 might not cover it all.
We're getting one down at church, a big tall one, and it's 1,300.
Yeah, I think you
15.
want 13, 1,400.
Yeah, should we
Yeah.
put 15 maybe, just to be on
I
the
hear
safe side?
115. Do I hear another one?
Yeah.
I'll go
Two.
for 15.
Okay,
Keep this thing
thank
moving.
you. All right, next item is celebrations.
I'm fine with 500 right now because we don't have a tree out here and if we need to move money, if we figure something out, which I'm hoping we'll do this fall, or this Christmas, but we can move it. You guys okay with that?
Okay, first item on the next page, we talked about 35,000. We were leaving the clerk and the ZBA clerk alone, so the next line, equipment, we can make that the codes update. How many local laws do we have to update, Ann, do you think? Or do you have a quote already from them?
No, I don't have a quote, but let me look and see. 'Cause it's,
There's probably half a dozen, I would bet.
yeah,
I mean, some of them are not much of anything, but.
It's been a while since we.
We got a quote in Lafayette last month for doing, I think, 3 or 4 of them, and it was like $1,000, $1,200.
How are you guys holding up?
Good. You
Pretty
okay?
good? Yeah.
It's been 4 years since we updated the code.
Well, let me see what we spent the last time.
You want to heat up?
Yeah, heat up.
laws.
Colder than hell in here.
So you think 18 was the last time or 17 that we did that?
It said 17 when I just checked it.
All right, let me go see what we spent in 17.
What do you say, 3 or 4 for 1,000, you said? For the other town?
Yeah.
Technically,
There's 5 laws that have to, because 2 of them were the tax levy override that aren't codified. There's a lot.
General code publishers, last time we did it was 1,195. I'm guessing
Who usually
maybe $2,000.
The codes officer or Nikki?
Nikki.
Nikki?
She could write to them and ask them. I mean,
Yeah, they'd give us
solar
a-
law would be.
Yeah,
That solar law is big, so that might be a little bit more. And did that also include, is that gonna have to be incorporated into, did it overwrite other parts of the laws?
eliminated
So it's
a
based
whole
on size.
section and.
So we
replaced
might-
it.
We might want to do like 2,500 at least at this point, estimating it.
Where does that go?
We're gonna put it on
Oh,
A
code.
8010.2.
I mean, she could send it, Nikki could send a message to general code.
And
as-
they'll give us a good number within a
Right.
week. Yeah. Do you want to talk to Nikki about
Sure.
getting that done?
And then the contractual expense E code is what then? The eight
The
810?
E code is the online code that we have access to.
So we pay for that,
Yes, we pay that.
access.
Yep, $13.50 a year for that. And then the last one, contractual. So that includes mileage for the zoning officer. Let's see what else is on there. The zoning board of appeals gets paid out of that. What else? Just looking at it just a few minutes ago in the other room. Wonder if I didn't put it back where it belongs. Oh, just got stuck. So yes, some money for office supplies. And then the BAS software is about $1,700, $1,800. Mileage, we use about 3,000. And then the E code, the 1350. And that's where we come up with that number.
The E code is in that.
The
line?
E code I
It's
put on
separate.
this,
Okay,
I put it separate just so that
Yep,
you
yep.
know that it's a big expense.
gotcha. Just don't want it to be in there twice.
No, it's not in there twice. And then planning covers the planning clerk, and then the contractual covers the planning board stipend and any other miscellaneous stuff that they have. We can charge the ads off to that kind of a thing. And some money for their training when they go to the Onondaga County training. 500 in there for that.
Okay.
Environmental control, we've started with that $1,000 for the updating the tower information every year. So do we want to keep that? Do we think we need more? I think we should probably keep it and keep doing it.
Yeah, 1,000.
You're still trying to work on that.
And then the 1,500 covers the ECC board's annual stipend.
Okay.
SATs, I mentioned that earlier, just a couple of units have been added there, no change in the base. Kept the engineering for the annual, the quarterly or annual, whatever the inspections are down at the landfill. And then 2,100 to keep it mowed, that's 4 mowings a year. Clearing the vacant lots, didn't have to use it last year or this year. I was kind of figuring that we should probably keep it in with a new codes officer might be more diligent. But following up on the nuisance mowings. Cemeteries, that would be enough to buy like a new weed whacker or something like that. But the mower was in good shape, Tom told us, right, PR?
Yep.
And then under water services, we have the lease for the spring is the first number there. And then the other one is for the water services, the annual charge for the salt dome studies that is ongoing here. They come
That's in the pot, in the hand.
in the hamlet, yeah, they come and put in the reverse osmosis filters and keep those systems all working. And then state retirement, and then social security. That needs to be probably 23.5, I think. I can go check on that before we meet again.
I was hoping there was a good reason it was missing.
It was missing because I think we were still talking salaries
I know.
when we were
I
on
was
that
just like,
line.
okay, maybe there's a reason we don't have to pay social security this year.
So the hospital and
mark
medical
that in.
covers 2 retirees at individual coverage and the highway superintendent at family coverage. And that's where that number comes from. So, tell you the truth, of all those changes we just made, we didn't really make a whole lot of difference to the bottom line.
What is it?
The new bottom line is 1,886. 110. Okay, now we're on to revenues. SOTS is a wash with the other page. Interest and penalties on taxes, that's what you brought in this year, the 8,800, so that's what I use for next year. Franchise fees, I took where we are to date and just doubled it, and that's about where we're gonna be next year, about 78,000. Unless people start dropping off their dropping out of cable TV and that kind of stuff. Clerk fees, I based that on where it looked like we were gonna be this year. She's already at $1,000 halfway into the year. Rec charges, all right, this one I wasn't sure. I went back to the old way that we were doing it with only charging the outside users, and if in-town users want to contribute, they can, and it puts us in a better position. But I don't know, how's the board feel about that? That met a lot of resistance when we were charging everybody.
Well, it didn't meet a lot of resistance.
Several
From
resistors, how about that?
But I think that the suggested fee was what we originally had wanted, and until the cost became so exorbitant per student that it was well more than the norm this year. It went from like what, 110 or 20 to 160 something, and so instead of making it suggested, we did that sliding scale fee thing. But we could go back to suggested. I don't think there's hardly anybody that
I was super opposed to it.
that Megan said was opposed to paying in, so
And I
We'll
think that if we,
I don't know what you guys think.
I think we should definitely ask Fabius and Lafayette to go up to $100 per student as well. And so I'm estimating that we would probably have 200 town residents, 75 from outside, and then about 40 from the shared services. So it's the outside users and the other one. So if we went to 100 for all of those, that's where I came up with roughly the 9,000.
So the 40 is from Lafayette and Fabius?
Yep.
Okay.
And 75 is from
And you could-
Cazenovia, Manlius, wherever else.
Okay.
So that gives us like, just over 100 students.
And then if anybody pays in the town,
It's a bonus.
it's, yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, we could probably go as high as 10,000 there on that. Kind of a feeling, maybe 12,000.
well, the only problem is what are we gonna be allowed to do next year?
Right, we just don't
God only
know.
knows, truly.
Yeah, and scary.
So I don't know if we want to overestimate that revenue because we might be,
I'm not a big fan of overestimating revenue.
no,
but-
me neither.
I'd stay where you are at the 9th. That's my opinion.
All right, zoning and planning fees, those vary year to year. I just left them alone. Interest, that's, we're not earning any there. The 500 comes from Fabius for the assessor's office. Dog licenses, I left alone. It looks like a fairly accurate number. Buildings permits. So halfway through the year, we were at $11,000 on building permits. So that one, if we wanted to bump that up a little more than my 1,000, we probably could.
I would, because I think last year we did.
Last year, we did almost 15,000. So I would think 15,000, I wouldn't want to go much more than that, but what's the rest of the board feel?
15.
15.
Okay.
So court fines.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. You can see last year we were at 8,738. Halfway into the year, we're at 3,500.
It's unbelievable.
I think we'll make the 8,000 this year. I don't think we're gonna make the 10,000.
This last comptroller's bill was better.
Yeah, we did a little better on this one.
But there's no incentive to pay fines right now, so.
And the state's taking a higher percentage of it, so. Sir, all right, so then there's sale of scrap, which is the metal out there in the bins. So BR, when the bins get full and we take the scrap metal out, then that money goes to Nikki and then shows up in this account. Services for other governments, that's the amount we got from FM and JD. And so we can see we got 4,863 last year. That's why I used the 4,900 for this year. No refunds of prior years. That had to do with the SOTs when we bailed SOTs out. Other unclassified is just, mystery stuff that comes in. And I put the AIM funding back in at full amount because AIM is now Onondaga County sales tax. So the state doesn't care if they give us the AIM money. And then the really big gamble, our state mortgage tax.
Yeah, really.
Our first payment this year came in at 153. Last year, you can see we're at 239,000. I don't know how much longer the refi market's going to continue. But I did say, we should at least go up a little bit closer to what we were making.
It is a risk.
Well, the worst part is our second payment doesn't come in until January 4th of 2022. We get the assignment of it in November or December from the county. They tell us how much it's going to be, but they don't actually dump it into our account until after the first of the year.
Just never know.
We know in November,
Yeah.
but
But it's too late.
Too late.
Roll of the dice.
Well, I mean, I'll go with your recommendation because I really do think it's
it's very conservative
A crapshoot.
recommendation. I can see going to 200. I mean, we'll probably be well over 200 this year. But I'm not positive. But if we go back a couple of years, we were under 200,000.
180.
Let's see what the bottom line is at the end.
Yeah. that's-
Well, we've covered
everything.
We've covered just about everything. You want to quickly run down through the special districts
Yeah.
and fire? So if we,
Quickly,
yeah, those won't take long at all. I mean, we basically looked at them already on the
Yeah.
cover page. So if you go to page 8, that's the first page of them. And there's a lot of them. So at the top of page 8, street lighting, that's the first one is Poppy Hill, kept that the same. Delphi Falls, up that a little bit, but we also had a little bit of surplus left, so that kind of balanced out, only $100 increase. Pompey Center Water, that's just hydrants, the same thing for Brickyard, Pompey Pines. Water District, those are all just hydrants. Then there's Pompey Pines Extension 1, that's the pump house. That First section there, the extension one, they give $5,550 each year for 20 years to cover the upgrades that were done to that pump house in order to provide water to the water tower. And then the 400 is just for the hydrants. And then the next one on the next page, Long Meadows, more hydrants. Same thing for Preserve, Spruce Ridge. And then we're down to North Pompey Water and Storage. So this one kind of had a bump this year because our base principal payment went from 20,000 to 25,000. So this year there is a tax increase for this one. And then the service charge, on the revenue side, a little bit of interest, and the service charges coming from the other areas. The last one is Spruce Ridge South, again, hydrant charges. On to the next page, more hydrant charges. Hartsfield, Arbutus, Arbutus 3, Mallard's Landing. Then we're into the drainage district. Pompey Pines Drainage District has a mowing of a retention pond and preserve drainage. We're hopefully getting that project close to being wrapped up this year, but we decided to leave that in there in case the county doesn't cover all of it and we need to loan them some money to get that project finished up.
That should be, I'm so hopeful that's the last.
I'm hoping that's the last big year of that, but
Yeah,
we still are gonna have to do the work on the mowing of the drainage section down there.
Oh, yeah.
Ongoing and stuff.
separate from
But that's
that big
smaller.
project, yeah.
So the next one is the Spruce Ridge. That's the Spruce Ridge North, as we've been calling it. We dropped down the amount that we've been putting away towards getting that stuff fixed up, thinking that maybe we're getting close to having enough. And then Spruce Ridge South drainage, that's for just ongoing care. In Hartsfield, there's one section that needs to be mowed there every year. And Arbutus 1 and Arbutus 1 didn't really need any work. There's a swale in Arbutus 3 that we've had some ongoing costs with. And the last page, there's the first thing you'll see there is the Manlius Fire Protection Contract. Fairly substantial. That's fire and ambulance coverage for us. Any questions on that? Renee did reach out to Manlius and talk about it.
Where's my notes on that? I did talk to the
Thank
clerk.
you for doing that. Yeah.
It was necessary when I saw the increase, but I talked to the clerk there. Where did I put my notes?
Well, one of the things that's affecting us here is, again, the equalization rate. Because they're paying $1.28 at 100% equalization rate, and we're paying like $1.32 or something because of the equalization rate differential.
So it took me probably a good hour today just to figure out why our numbers were different than the numbers in the, oh, I got it right in the numbers in the actual
The
fire
budget
department
itself, yeah.
budget. But most of the, I don't know where I put it, most of the increase is related to personnel. They cannot get volunteers, so they're having to pay people to,
The drivers
they
and
need more
stuff.
paid staff. So it's increased.
It's mostly the ambulance side of it, with my quick read.
You, no, that's absolutely right.
Oh,
The-
really? Yeah.
The fires,
Fire was pretty
the
flat, I
fire was
thought.
flat. It's,
Yeah.
it's the ambulance side that they just are not, they don't have volunteers. So, and I don't know where I put my notes on that, but,
But that's mostly what you and I talked about with the ambulance, and then the fact that the are
Yeah.
having a bad equalization rate makes it look like we're spending more.
yep. Which is another impact of being at 89% instead of 100, so. It's. The bottom line is, it is what it is, because the village passes their budget and they work on their budget in April. They have a June to May fiscal year. So they've been operating with this budget since June that they passed prior to that, and then our our budget process comes around and we're seeing it for the first time. So, my suggestion is to those that care, myself being one of them, honestly, is that if you're interested in knowing and like having input in that budget, you need to attend the village budget workshop for the fire department, you know, for fire protection, if there's concern there. They base their budgeting, how they've divided up between the village of Manlius, the town of Manlius, and the town of Pompey, the portion of the town of Pompey that's there, on assessed values. So it's not based on number of calls or anything like that. It's based on the property value of the homes in the district within the village versus within the town versus of Manlius versus within the town of Pompey. And that's why we cover almost 24%, I think, without having, I can't find my paperwork, of the cost of that Manlius Fire Department. But, and the town pays close to 50%, and then the other is
The
the
village,
village.
so.
So that's how it breaks out. I did not know that that's how they determined the value, because I thought maybe it's based on the number of calls, but it isn't. It's based on property value.
Thank you for finding that out.
You're welcome. And if I could find my notes, I could probably say a few more things, but my brain is getting a little bit fried and I can't find my notes, so I'm a note taker.
So Delphi Falls is the next one. They've asked for a $5,000 increase in their contract. That's the stuff that we pay directly to them to cover the services. They haven't had a raise in a couple of years now.
Right.
So it's not really a lot. It's probably like $1,500 a year if you take it back to the last time they had a raise in it. And we left they have $15,000, which is a bond payment, I believe, on a truck. And then the workers' comp, which we pay directly to the carriers. And so sometimes there's a little bit of surplus left in that one. The Delphi Falls ambulance, I've only given you an estimate on that one. They have not adopted their budget yet. And then it's divided out between Cass, Nelson, Pompey. There's like 5 taxing authorities there that they have to divide it up by. And the last page there is Pompey Hill Fire District, which there was basically no change. Yeah, the rest of them just the drainage district. So if we flip over to the rates page, which we really haven't looked at, page 16.
What page is the full change here?
It's Pompey Hill.
If you look at it though, it's 20,000 different. Is that because?
It's because of the revenues. I don't have the revenue
Okay.
estimates that are down below there.
All right.
Yeah, that's the only difference is the revenue estimates. When you look at when you go to page 16, which is printed sideways, you'll see.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we're not going in the right direction.
I know.
Right now, we're about 54,000 over the tax cap. We're used to say 5,914. Down below, taxes over and below is now 5,4,159. The general fund is up 1 penny per thousand, 0.66. Is the tax rate. Instead of 0.65. And the increase is 1 penny. The highway is now at $2.12, 2.12, which is an increase of 11 cents. So overall, we're up to a tax rate of 2.78, which is a 12 cents per thousand. And the tax cap percentage change is 5.5%. And then down below, you'll see that Pompey Fire has got a 2 cent decrease. Manlius Fire has a 13 cent increase. Delphi Falls Fire has a 6 cent increase and the Delphi Falls ambulance remains flat.
Well, I say we take the 12,000 out for the revale,
You know what?
the revale.
Well, the other thing we haven't addressed is if we're gonna
ARPA.
use any of our ARPA money,
We could put ARPA for the revale.
we could. So here's the recap on the ARPA. So anything that we spend on the furnace, heat pumps above our 20,000 and whatever we get from NYSERDA, we could probably charge that off to the ARPA funding. So we have 4 points where we can use the revenue replacement calculation, which gives us more flexibility on what we can use the ARPA funds for. So normally, in the strictest sense, the ARPA funds can be used for sewer, water, and improvements that help with buildings for COVID, those type of things, or for giving bonuses and stuff like that. Now, the revenue replacement calculation, which is based on your history of how much you normally bring, how much your taxes, no, not your taxes, your revenues go up each year. That gave us a percentage of 8.9%, where the base was supposed to be 4.1, but I went and did the 6 years of calculations, and we ended up with a little bit better number. So our first year, our revenue replacement is 359,937 that we can use for basically any governmental expenditure other than financing debt. Excuse me, my throat's getting dry. Or things like funding retirement, those type of things. You can't use it for that type of stuff. So the board has decided out of that 350, or when we're talking about the highway budget, we decided out of that 359 that we can use in 2021 in 2021, we're going to commit the 43,000 to the new pickup truck. So that leaves us with about 310, maybe a little bit more than that, left in the revenue replacement. And then anything above that, like anything that we use on the furnace system or something on the heat pump system, would come directly out of the ARPA fund, so it wouldn't affect that 359,000. I wouldn't recommend using the ARPA money for something that's going to increase an ongoing expense. I would recommend it using it for something like Renee's saying, the reval, which we're only going to do over a course of 3 years. Makes a lot more sense than putting it into salaries or something that you're going to have to make that money up someplace else in taxes in the future. I would suggest that using the revenue replacement money, you should choose items like Renee said, that the reval, which is we can specifically say that's not going to be a reoccurring cost after these 3 years, and use the ARPA money this year, next year, and the last year to cover that. The other thing you might want to look at is maybe funding the fuel system, or maybe part of the garage roof out of that ARPA funding, because those are not going to be reoccurring things. I'm hoping that the next fuel system is going to last another 20 years and the roof's going to last another 20 years.
Like, what you're thinking, 20?
Probably.
The fuel system will leave us with 296,000, right? Take that out. Okay,
No, we're not gonna take it out. We'll add in some federal aid revenue in the revenue side.
Yeah, he'll just add in revenue.
So that'll offset it.
right.
Well, I guess, what the discussion now would be is what type of things do we feel comfortable using that federal aid for?
Well, we're limited because we don't have a lot of equipment expense in the town hall
No,
for this coming year because we're taking care of like the heat pumps and the windows and depending on if we get county ARPA money, some things aren't in here because we're hoping to be covered, but
yeah, I mean, technically in this year's account, we have enough revenue replacement money to cover the roof and to cover the fuel system, but I'm not sure you want to use all the ARPA money and reduce taxes with it either. I mean, that's more than we need to get us below the tax cap if that's a goal.
so
That's a good goal.
add in 32,000. Let's just the reval in the fuel system. As just to start.
Mhm.
Just-
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And see.
So, yeah, I think we're gonna be about 22, 23 probably at this point, still over the tax cap. So that gives us a -4, so yeah, 20, a little bit over 22,000, we're still over the tax cap. And we're showing a -4 cents in the general fund still, and we've got the 11 cents increase in the highway. They all roll into one line on your tax bill. We just keep them separate.
So. We didn't take any ARPA money for the roof. We did it for the equipment in the highway, right?
Right. Because the roof is a general fund expense.
Yeah, I just want to go look at the highway for a minute. So we offset the pickup. The Pickup is what we're using.
Yeah,
ARPA
that's what
for.
we talked about.
So the loader is putting some money towards the payloader could be a possibility, right? Or no?
Mhm.
Yes, okay,
Definitely.
so that.
I mean, the payload is a little more reoccurring than some of the other things, but
Yeah, that's true. Um,
I mean, the entry sign, $1,000 for that would be a good use of that revenue recovery because we're not doing that again for hopefully many years.
Add that in. And speak now if you don't agree with me, but I'm just gonna tell them what.
No.
As long as we're playing with, I mean, not that's gonna change it, but we'll knock it down to what, 21,000. So. Wow, last Thursday, we were in such good shape.
I know, I'm sorry. I missed those.
All right. Well, I think we're looking at either helping out on or putting some ARPA money towards the roof or more towards the payloader. Hmm,
One or the other, or both.
or both.
So what if you just put it towards the roof then, right? And change that number. And you're gonna put a metal roof on, right?
So we need about another 22,000 towards the roof probably to get us under the tax cap, I would think. Yeah, it goes all up. Total up to about 55,000. Well, that would put us 840 under the tax cap. Let's say combined general and highway of 3 cents per thousand increase, which is 2.29. Basically pretty close to the tax cap plus the small increase in the assessed value of the town.
No, I'm sorry, are we taking 21,000 towards the roof?
We're taking 22,000 towards the roof, 20,000 towards the fuel system, 12,000 towards the reval, and 1,000 towards the entry
So
side.
we're taking 22. Okay, so that knocks us down to 262 left of the money we have
Yep.
at the current time. And that does what to the, it gets us under the tax cap?
Gets
by-
us under the tax cap by $840, which I think is enough. I don't think the numbers are gonna change with the state. Gives us a tax rate now of 269, which is 3 cents higher than last year.
And what's that percentage? 2.2?
2.29, it says. 2.29. Yeah, so on $100,000 house, they'd see a $3 increase in their tax bill.
Considering where we were last year, which was 15% at this time when we started, and do we want to go lower, I guess is the one question.
We should try.
I mean, we have that ARPA money. That's the only thing. It's like, it makes no sense to hold on to it.
Not a whole lot.
Not, but on the other hand, it's a lot of money. So we want to be mindful of how we use it going forward.
I mean, and I know there's been talk about expanding this building to make the courtroom a little bit
Mhm.
bigger.
Yep.
I don't know if there's any other facility problems we're gonna come across on the highway garage when we dig into that roof.
None I can think of.
Well, you just don't know. What if all the insulation underneath that old roof is bad?
Yeah, well, they just did that, I thought, Tom said, didn't he?
Well,
Not too
what,
many years
maybe
ago.
8 years ago or so, maybe, Ann, would you think, when they did that big roof project?
Yeah.
It's probably about 8 years ago.
What do you think, Carl, about using more ARPA?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, when you did the insurance, health insurance, did you base it on, what number did you base it, percentage increase?
So what I did was I based, for the highway department, I based it on the current billing without the 10% that's taken away from that the
Employees.
employees pay. And so that gives, with the two that won't be paying in, the two oldest employees, should give us about a 7 or 8% available increase. And so supposedly last Thursday, they met and set the rates, but I haven't seen anything.
Yeah,
confirmed
and
yet.
they said they set them and then, but they didn't tell us. I
Yeah.
got an email.
Well, even if they set them, because everybody's in different circumstances in a self-insured plan, we're starting to go positive, so they may keep us at a higher rate until we're more positive. Some of the towns that are very positive get a really better rate, and the ones that are kind of neutral get a neutral rate. So I suspect we'll still be in a higher percentage, but we won't be in the situation we were a couple of years ago when we went into a deficit and got the higher percentage, plus we got the regular percentage increase. Excelis has gone up about 6 to 8%, depending on the plans for next year. MVP, I think I saw a forecast of 7%.
And if we do have some ability to like what we're working on right now with health insurance.
That would definitely drop the general funds budget a little bit and quite a bit in the highway fund, I would think.
Because I'm thinking we were looking at like,
I think we have one, we'll have one in the general fund that would be available to go to a more, a supplemental type plan. And I think we decided 5 in the highway at this point, maybe 6.
So I think we were thinking that that could free up. Not that we know it at the moment, but that could free up $36,000.
Yeah, if it all
For the year.
came in. Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot more cutting and chopping we can do. on
No,
this
I don't
budget.
think so. either.
No,
And I think even the areas that we're concerned about, like Veronica was talking about, the possibility of the extra expenses for the emails and the others, web hosting and stuff. We still have 25,000 in our contingent.
I was just looking at that. Can we play with that?
I would not touch that. We should have so much more in there.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. When I listen to the
He said we
state
don't have
comptroller's
enough.
office talk about what we should have as a
You could
contingency,
have as much as 4% of your,
we
your
should
total
have
budget,
so
so-
much.
that's a really tiny number compared to what
That's like
what
rainy
our
day
budget
money.
is.
I wouldn't touch that.
What have we used over the last, I don't know, 4 years?
See, that it's kind of hard to tell exactly what you've used. I can kind of look and see what,
You said something about.
this year we've
3,000.
only used 3,000.
That's the
Right.
publicity fund monies we shifted.
Right.
Let me see.
But you don't want to drop that. If we had. We should be trying to increase that is what we should be doing because we should have something for an emergency expense that comes along.
Last year, we transferred out about 3,000, but that's only because we had all that extra money in the sheriff's line that we used the sheriff's line to cover instead of going into the contingent.
Okay.
Let me tell you roughly what we transferred out of that, though. That we transferred out,
Thank you, Tom.
we transferred out $11,000 plus the 3,000, so about 13,000 would have been normally coming out of contingent last year.
I know it's tempting, but.
That's our only thing when something goes wrong. That's the scary
Yeah.
part.
I just would prefer not to have to raise any taxes this year.
So I would imagine the next question might be, what kind of a number do we need to do that?
Oh, we could look at that. yeah.
About 20,000 we'd either have to cut or use the ARPA money for. We get us to about a zero on the fixed increase.
Who's the argument?
That's what I think.
Who's the argument? Part of that.
Yep.
And I would think apply it towards the purchase of the loader maybe in the highway fund.
Spread it out.
See what that does. So that pushes 20,000 into the tax cap, gives us an 8-cent decrease in the general fund taxes and an 8-cent increase in the highway fund taxes.
Zero.
It's zero tax increase. I mean, it's still, because there was a 1% increase in the total assessed value of the town,
All right.
it'll still, so some people might see a pennies in their tax bill increase. But if they're, well, no, probably not, because most of that's probably new building. It's probably not, nothing was really rebuilt, right? This year,
You mean reassess?
reassessed, yeah.
That, you'd have to ask Larry that.
Yeah, I
know
doubt a
last
whole
year
lot.
that was-
I think most of
yeah.
this is new growth, though, the 6 million, 6.5 million. There could be some that was revalued or, you know, the reassessment based on the sales and stuff. But I would
So-
say overall, most people aren't gonna see a whole lot of increase.
We will knock then that, the original 359 that we have, or what is it? We have three,
We have 359 that's in the revenue recovery
okay,
right now, so we're gonna take away
so it knocks it down to 242.
2022, so
What I got.
the general and the highway. So the highway, we're taking 63,000. Let me go just double check with the numbers in general.
It doesn't make any sense not to use that money to put
For
towards.
a one-time thing.
The one-time items, that's exactly,
Yeah,
because we can't put it towards your salary because it's gonna continue past the 5-year period we can use it, and so. But I do think, especially because we're getting the other half next year, we're gonna really want to think about how,
So that still leaves 241,000 and just the revenue replacement portion of the money. And what did we get this year? Oh, I've got it. No, I don't have it. Let me just look it up.
we got 343, I think.
I
or
think that
3.
sounds right. Yeah, I think the revenue replacement was more than we got. So our total payments will be 743,000. So we got 320 some thousand. So our first year revenue replacement was more available than what we got in the first year.
Wow,
I've been seeing that in several of my towns, and the reason for that is it's based on your revenues collected in the period starting in let me get to the first page of that. So we started with the revenue in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. And what happened was Dave Knapp secured all of that back funding for the snow removal for the 3 years. It all came in 2018, which was a crucial turnover year in this look back period, because 2019 was your first year after that. And also what happened was the amount of money being collected for SOTS also jumped up when FAIR crashed on us. Remember that each town we had to give like $120,000 or something.
yeah.
Bankrupt.
to cover, yeah.
Because FAIR, and so there was a huge boost in that revenue coming in as well. And this, the way their formula works, it's based on your growth over the years from 16 to 19. And then 20 is your first year that you're able to apply that percentage to. So if you didn't do anything, you would have been allowed to use 4.1% of that as your revenue replacement, because that's what they decided across the board. But I decided to go the extra effort and see what our real numbers was, knowing that in the back of my head that we had those years, and we ended up with 8.9%. And so all of the SOTS, the 4 SOTS towns all had, almost all of them, I think, their revenue recovery was more than they got in the first release, the first half release. So we have to still think about the rest of this balance. So there's
Yeah.
241 roughly left of what's available. Now, we don't have 241. We only have like 200 of it because we didn't get that much
Right,
in the
we
first
didn't get
year.
the whole thing. all of it.
So we have to have a plan to spend this by 2024 in total. And we have to have spent it by 2026. So using the reval, I mean, that's an obvious. We're going to be using it for the next 2 years. And maybe we need to look at using some more of it towards the next equipment purchase possibly.
Chuck,
Just keep catching us up on how far behind we are with highway
You know,
equipment. If
I
we
mean,
can get out
Atisco
of that
turns their
hole-
dump trucks over every 5 years. They
Who's
turn
that?
Atisco.
Oh, just go.
They have 2 dump trucks that every 5 years they replace them.
Don't tell him that, okay?
Their loaders, they replace every 5 years.
Don't tell him that.
I mean, and Casanova is even worse. I mean, the highway superintendent has a new pickup truck every year.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's not a base model that you crank the windows down either.
Well, I don't
It's
know.
very comfortable leather inside.
And that town must just be fine with it, and this town would not be fine with that. That is a luxury, not a necessity. And that's just,
Well, the thing is if you turn your dump truck over every 5 years, you get 80 or 90,000 for it instead of if you hold on to it for 10 or 12 years and you got $5,000 or $10,000
And
for
maybe
it.
we have leather seats.
Yeah.
And they still have seats in them then too.
that's unreal.
So here's where we're at, guys. If we're comfortable with the elected official salaries, that we're not going to jump up the judges, the town board, the highway superintendent's salary. And we're pretty happy with the overall spending package. We can move it at this point to preliminary and set our public hearing, or we can, I can't really reprint it because we haven't moved it into the preliminary column. But you kind of know what the numbers are we've
We
changed.
did raise the judges' salaries, but
We
not.
did, not as much as they
okay,
wanted.
I just wanted to make
Yep.
sure we're talking about the same thing.
Yep. So if you're absolutely positive you're not going to increase salaries anymore,
No,
and you're pretty sure that this is a spending package you want to go with next year and that we haven't missed anything or nothing major,
Yep.
everybody pretty comfortable with that?
the only things I was concerned about was E-codes, and we included that. And the water treatment system, if we don't get it from the county, we might have to figure something out,
We
but
might have to use some of this
Yeah.
241,000 of our
Yeah.
ARPA money for it.
so we'll see.
And that may actually be subject to the more stringent ARPA because that's also providing thing, that may be okay because it's providing that service to a public building.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to look through the ARPA rules and regs, but I mean, if you would think that if putting in proper COVID air filters is a good use, I would think maybe upgrading
Yeah.
the water system.
Well, and I mistakenly, because I didn't realize what we were getting at the salt barn roof, was originally there was going to be a deficit. So I included that in the county ARPA application, the difference between what we were going to get paid for insurance and it doesn't look like we're going to have to worry about it. I didn't tell you this, but I told Tom, I talked to Eastern Shores today, or not today, but last Friday. And that they're gonna cover the claim for Joe Sal, the big amount. But that less the depreciated value, which was like 32,000. But you get that once you do the work.
So we'll get that money back.
You'll get it. Yeah, so they'll cover the whole thing.
So when do we want to do it?
Now, it needs to
Yeah,
be
get
done
Joselle on the job.
yesterday.
Yeah.
It needs to get on the schedule.
That was
So,
the last question we had. was that
Yeah.
52,000.
yeah, and I told him today, I just haven't seen you. Well, I've seen you, I just haven't had it. Been
Well, Renee
preoccupied with
didn't have
it.
1,000 other things going
Yeah, I
on
just
today.
was worried about this
So
today,
here's the only
so.
problem. Right now, we're gonna be in and out of there for the next month with sand and salt.
You're not gonna be on the roof, though.
No, but they'll be in and about it,
They'll be inside of it.
I would imagine.
What are they gonna be inside?
Well, you better coordinate it.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Then
have
talk
them.
to them and see what you can work out, because that, if we put it off another year, the cost will go up and so will the damage, because it just keeps
Yeah, they're
getting
still
worse.
flaking off.
Yeah,
So. I mean, it's starting to get late in the season as it is to get on the schedule, but is that something that could be done in the winter?
I don't think they'd want to do it in the winter.
No.
I mean, they did my roof on my house in the middle of the winter in February, but that's a little different. That one's a really steep and it's up there in the wind.
Okay, I'm just, I
It can be done. They
out there.
they burn,
Yeah, we
they
don't-
torch the shingles down if they're self-sticky kind. I don't know what kind you're getting. But
Yeah, I don't know.
so the board might want to make some motions here. Do you want to make the motion to move this to preliminary?
If
I
so
think so.
moved.
Carl made a motion, somebody seconded
I'll
it,
second it.
and seconded it. Is there any discussion at this point?
No.
Yeah.
Are we all good?
I think so.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. All those in favor? of
Aye.
The budget, aye. Opposed, motion carried. We are moving to preliminary.
Now, the next motion will be to set the public hearing. We currently have our town board meeting scheduled for 6:30 on Wednesday, November 3rd.
So moved.
So we want to set public hearing right at 6:30 or do we want to set it at 6?
I would like to do this earlier than that.
Earlier.
I mean, a different date.
Well, you can't do it on Monday because you're having an election in this room.
Because they're setting up.
Yep.
Uh,
I currently have, on Mondays, I have something scheduled every Monday in October.
Since when? This is the last Monday in September. You're here.
Got Monday, October 4th, did you guys? October 11th is a
Does
Tisco.
it have to be a Monday?
It doesn't have to be a Monday, maybe Thursday, October, what's the last
28th.
Thursday?
28th. Yeah, because we won't have the final county numbers until sometime, probably
Yeah.
around October 18th.
Yeah,
So we won't know that whether this tax rate is actually zero until we get the final assessment numbers from the
Right.
county.
what's that date?
28th.
28th? How about Thursday, the 28th at what time?
6:30.
6:30.
So moved.
Second? I second. All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, so it'll be on the 28th day of
And I'll let Nikki know all this
Thank you.
October.
before you adjourn. I'll do the payment of bills
Yep,
before we forget about
yep,
it.
we need a motion to pay the
I'll make the
bills.
motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It seems like there was something else I had on my notepad. Let me see if I can find a notepad. for Marjorie.
Good luck, you guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I was not going to short the highway. Welcome.
Let's see, do we have any other, oh, do you want to make a motion authorizing, BR to sign, or authorizing Renee to sign the paperwork to have the salt shed roof replaced by the county contractor?
Is that, okay,
So moved.
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So I think I have, I don't know if I have the paperwork.
I don't know who has the paperwork, but you would be the ultimate signer.
That's what I
You have to
wondered.
get permission.
Actually, I sent that to Tim asking him who signs, because it was highway and I didn't know if it was supposed to be you or me.
Well, it's a general fund expenditure, so I
Oh, okay.
definitely think it should be you. It's not covered by the,
I should have
284
asked you
agreement.
that question then.
no, I mean, I
Not
may,
true.
he may have a different opinion. We do
No.
occasionally,
Then he hasn't got back to me on that one, so I'm going with your,
but it's not covered by the
Makes sense.
284 agreement, which is your authorization to spend funds by the highway superintendent.
Okay.
So I would say it's definitely a Renee signature.
okay.
And when you go back to the public hearings, do you want to make them for all of them? At this point in time, do you want her to do all of those?
Yeah, I,
The special districts, fire districts,
Fire
all of those?
district.
Okay,
The
Yeah.
fire district.
yeah, the standard,
the standard legal.
yeah, so there'll be,
Set all public.
the only one that doesn't have to be is a sewer district, because they're gone.
Okay.
So it's lighting, fire,
Water drainage.
and SOTS, I think. Lighting, fire, well, yep, and then water, drainage, and SOTS. And so you can tell her to send me her note from last year and I can doctor her. I can doctor it with the new numbers.
Number eight. Well, how about you were chewing on something?
I had one of each.
So,
I had a plethora
That's so funny that-
of stuff.
That's so funny that my computer, when it normally dings, it comes through the TV.
are we good to adjourn?
Adjourn.
I can't think of anything else we have to do.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Thank you all for your hard work.
All right, does anybody want, I have these extra copies that I had brought for Judy. Do you think she'll want them in, or do you think she already looked at them?
She has been on Facebook watching us.